सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।
Namaskar and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Jyotsna Vahal Tandon, and in today's live session of Sahyog, you have joined us on our official YouTube channel, that is NCRT Official, and you can watch us on eVidya channel numbers 6 to 12. All our Sahyog segments are brought to you by MANODARPAN, an initiative by Atmanirbhar Bharat for providing teachers, students and parents a psychological support. So in today's session, our topic will be promoting positive environment around the students, which is the need of an hour. So we have with us two eminent guests, and let me just introduce you. So in a while, I'll just introduce the guests. Meanwhile, if you want to get any answers, if you have any queries, you can just call us on 8800440559, and our another number is 844-844-0632. These are our toll-free numbers. If you call us on these numbers, you will definitely get the suggestions from the guests. Our email ID is sahyog.ncert@ciet.nic.in. So so it's time to introduce the guests. Today we have with us Ms. Uma Rani Chiluka. You are practicing counselor and you are from Telangana. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Uma Rani.
Thank you so much.
And we have our another guest, Dr. TV Somashekar. You are RIE NCRT from Mysuru. A very warm welcome to you as well, sir.
Namaste.
So in today's session, we will we will get the knowledge about how to promote positive environment around the students, because it is really the need of an hour, and in today's rat race, the students are really getting deep into the depressions and anxiety. So, sir, I would like to start the session with you. Just let me know what is the environment and why it is important for creating an environment for learning or for students. What will you tell us?
Yes, madam, learning is a social activity, so where we need to depend on interactions among varieties of learners of the same age group and the peers. And therefore, it becomes essential for the teachers to create a conducive environment for the learning in a given classroom situations. So without those conducive, stimulating environment built across around us, we will not be in a pleasant condition to visualize or assimilate the learning that is going to be taking place or being provided in a given context. So therefore, environment becomes important. Though environment can be seen, the environment one can create within himself, and the environment one can create is being created around us. So here we are talking about the environment that is being created around the learner in a learning context, that is in the classroom. So when we talk about inside the environment being created by the learner, it is learner's abilities that he is going to perceive in terms of the way he is trying to create. His mental health, his mental well-being is also looked into, his emotional stability and his social stability factors are considered, and he has to create his own environment for doing his own activities. So it becomes a total internal activity when we talk about individual's inner environment. But here we talk about the external environment, which we have created only to stimulate and motivate the learners to be engaged in the learning process. So hence it becomes very, very important for a teacher to create a positive learning environment. So because learning is a purposeful activity, it is a predetermined activity to attain the set learning outcomes. So the teacher has a certain outcome which has to be attained, and to attain that she is going to deliberate on varieties of knowledge that is being going to be presented, and that will be engaged with the learners with varieties of learning activities. So it is in that context she has to create a social emotional learning environment in the classroom, which is going to be very, very conducive, which is encouraging, which is prompting, and which make the learner to share, exchange their ideas and disseminate their ideas and make a convincing argument for acceptance or rejection of any ideas. So it is in that way the learners are going to learn or create or construct their own knowledge and try to use them in different occasion when it is going to be demanded. So it is in that perspective the learning environment becomes more so important. So the major purpose, the benefits, why it becomes so important in a classroom condition, it enhances student engagement. So that is here engagement is the cognitive engagement we are talking about. It is not the physical activity that is being perceived or being engaged in the classroom. It is totally the cognitive engagement where the learner is made to think on a particular idea being presented by the teacher in many forms in front of them, and trying to visualize that, trying to represent them in their own mental forms, and try to analyze it and interpret them in their own ways. So all these we call it as the engagement. It is a cognitive engagement that is being there. And for teacher to do that, the teacher has to motivate the learners, because all learners doesn't have the same cognitive abilities. So there will be varying abilities. The teacher has to motivate each and every learner according to their motivational levels and encourage them and see that they are always in that learning stride. Second, this positive learning environment that you create by the teacher will, as I said earlier also, it promotes social and emotional well-being of each learner. So that is human beings being a social element, human beings. So therefore they love to interact with others. So in the classroom, they are going to interact with their peer group, though there is a varying differences among them, heterogeneity is there. So still they have this socialization factor that is being taking place, and in that socialization they try to learn many things in terms of their habits, in terms of their attitudes, and in terms of their sharing and dissemination. All these factors are going to be there, and it relates to their emotions. So we say that as the social development takes place, the learners will develop the ability of expressing their emotions in the desired ways. And here we talk about the emotions are very, very essential so that he can interact and relate the learning situation in the social context with the emotions and develop the feeling, favorable feelings towards that learning activity, and form a positive perspective on that learning things. So it is in that perspective we talk about being social and emotional components are being considered, it enhances their mental well-beingness. And also this entire activity, though we talked about the learning activities being done physically in the classroom, it enhances their cognitive engagement through varieties of the thinking process. It ultimately it ends up in the learning outcome, which is being seen in largely as academic achievement. So it is the total outcome that the learner has acquired or able to accomplish in a given learning period, and try to demonstrate it in a meaningful manner. So it is in that way he can also see the progress about his own achievement over a period of time. So it is in that perspective also we try to look at it.
Yes.
And lastly, it also talks about the supporting the diversity and inclusivity. So that means in our Indian context, the diversity is embraced and it is accepted and it is used as a learning resource in the classroom. So diversity in terms of various factors can be looked into, in terms of the culture diversity, in terms of social diversity, in terms of the food habits, in terms of the dress that we wear, and the food that we eat also contribute to those kinds of diversities. And those experiences the children bring into the class will add to the learning resources. And the teacher, if he is very creative enough, he can tap those resources and use the learner as a learning resource and use their experiences for the learning activity. And the inclusivity means here all kinds of learners are included and they are not discriminated. Every learner has been given equal opportunity of participation, equal opportunity of interaction, equal opportunity of clarifying their ideas in a democratic atmosphere, in a conducive and warm environment. So it is in that way it encourages the individual to grow in a
Yes.
holistic pattern. So hence, the positive environment is very crucial to be created by the teacher.
Yes, so teachers and students, today in our special session of Sahyog, we are talking about how to promote a positive environment around the students. So if you are a teacher, a student or a parent, this session is really, mind-blowing, and this will definitely give you another level of knowledge. So we have two important guests with us. That was Dr. TV Somashekar, and another guest is Miss Uma Raniji. And Dr. Somashekar, I have another question for you, and that is, what are the main elements of positive environment? What will you tell us?
Okay, so it is the unique factors that we are able to identify and say that these are the qualities which qualify the given environment as positive environment. The first and foremost is it must have the positive relationships and interactions among the learners and between the learners and between the teacher and the group of learners. It is not one-sided, so it has to be looked at from multi-dimension, and how teacher promotes these kinds of social interactions in the classroom, encouraging them to go for dialogues or for discussions and for arguments, and finally coming to the consciousness is what needs to be looked at as the one of the important positive environment. The second component is the safe and inclusive physical space. So that means your entire activity is happening in a physical infrastructure, that is the classroom, it is the building. That room has to be safe. So it is not only physical safe, we are talking about social safety and emotional safety and the mental safety of the child. And the Child Right Act ensures that every child will have that safety measures in the class, in the school, and in the environment, and therefore the child feels it is secured enough and has the safety measures in place so that it can interact in a very free atmosphere. So that is the important thing. And if the classrooms are not arranged, seating arrangement is also one of the important component. If the teacher wants that seating arrangements to be different from the normal one, like creating a circular one or creating a square one or say creating a semicircular one, so that flexibility must be there in the classroom so that teachers can create her own seating arrangements and create their own environment for introducing their own subject knowledge. So it is that element must also be looked into. And the third one is it is emphasis on social emotional learning. So that means here we cannot take learning as only a mental activity. It is also social and emotional component has also to be included into those factors. And therefore in those the learning activities that one designs must take care of these components and encourages more of interactions, more of emotions, more of discussions, more of sharing, more of caring must also be demonstrated in those activities, can be visualized and can be designed. And then the opportunities for students voice and choice. So that means here every student in the class must be given an opportunity to air their questions, or they must be developing the questioning ability among the learners so that they can clarify any doubts that they have on any issues in a very free and fair manner without any threatening conditions. So that means it means to say that teacher will embrace the democratic practices and have the same philosophy and deal in that same approach. If the teacher becomes autocratic, then all this goes in a diverse manner. And then whatever the teacher does and provides as a learning experiences, it that must be in the backdrop of this learner's social cultural context. Okay, that means whatever culture they have at home, that needs to be brought into the classroom conditions learning situation so that the child can relate it and extend it beyond classroom learning also into real context. And the whatever examples that we give, whatever activities we are going to provide need not be only in one dimension.
Yes.
It can be utilized in multiple dimensions and see that the diversities are addressed and the diversity needs of every
Yes.
learner is met in that particular environment. So these factors will enable us to say that whether it is a positive environment or not.
Yes. So, Umar Raniji, now I have a question for you as well. From past few minutes, we are talking about the students, but is there any strategy for the positive environment which we can create around the teachers as well? Because that is also very important.
Yeah, sure. And we have just now, thank you so much, Sahyog sir and ma'am. And sir has rightly said the cognitive engagement, and he has spoken about social safety and emotional safety inside the classroom, and even the flexibility. And coming to the teacher's perspective, uh, I'll give some few examples where we can have the teacher strategies. So teachers should be practice active listening empathy. Active listening empathy, where she can do is students sharing their ask the students to share their weekend activities, how they have spent their weekend, and in the meantime she has to tell give the assurance by giving some opportunity to open up, and whenever they are spoken about their activities, then you have to support as a teacher, like tell me more about your favorite part of the weekend. And after the student gives the information, you have to uh, supplement, like that sounds like a lot of fun, I can see why it was your favorite part. Like that, you have to encourage the student to communicate in the classroom. And whenever the students are struggling with a task in the classroom, uh, teacher has to be an active listener, and conclude that, can you explain what's challenging about this task for you? The teacher has to ask sympathetically, and after getting the answers, you have to conclude that, I understand how frustrating that can be. Like that, let us break it down together, we talk together and have a solution for that. One more example I would like to give is students sharing on a concern. So whenever the student is sharing about a particular concern, teacher must assure that I am here to listen you, and can you tell me more about what's on your mind. Then, by concluding, that sounds really tough. I'm very sorry you are going through that. Like that, a compassionate statement has to be given by the teacher, so that they feel that the environment is emotionally and emotionally safe to share their experiences. And coming to the next point, uh, encourage the students' participation and feedback, uh, and use retroactive practices and conflict resolutions. So when student feeling overwhelmed with joy, then we need to ask in the classroom that, what's the feeling overwhelmed to you right now? Then they will open up and start communicating with the teacher. And after sharing their interest, we may conclude with, that's too cool. Can I see why you enjoy it? Like that, we as teachers must engage the students in active listening, and encourage the students for participating in the with positive language reinforcement. And display of student work and celebrate achievement, this is very very important in the school life, because every student is diversified, everyone has different talents in them. And whenever they have done something different from others, we must be there to encourage them. And by encouraging them, they feel they are having a trusted teacher over there
Yes.
to support them, and create a safe and supportive environment, and encourage open communication with the students, and which fosters a sense of belongingness and connection with the students,
True.
and helps the student develop emotional intelligence and self-awareness, through which a positive, inclusive, positive classroom environment culture is provided in the classroom.
And what about the school administrators? We have talked about the students, we have talked about the teachers, but what about the school administrators? Are there any strategies for the administrators as well, which way is the way we can create the positive learning environment for the school administrators as well?
Yeah, good question. And there are n number of strategies through which the student can be felt like there is a cognitive engagement in the classroom and the safe learning environment is provided. Some of the examples I can give you here. Establish a growth mindset culture. That means encourage the students to view challenges as opportunities for their growth and development, and foster a sense of community, like encourage collaborative works, teamworks, and where they need mutual support, and they develop among the students. And there should be cooperative environment where students, teachers, and the staff together build the school environment through which they can have good rapport. And even in teaching skills also, we need to encourage the students to have empathy and give tasks so that they know their self, they have their own self awareness, what they can do. If at all, if you ask them to do a kind of project or any assignment, then only they will know that their strengths and weakness. And whenever they are feeling very much weak in particular area, we must support them and ask the even peer children to support the kid who are struggling. This kind of encouragement will be given as shown as an empathy towards the student, and even the teachers has to design such things and create a safe and inclusive space. For this, physical and emotional safety, and promote diversity and equity and inclusion in the inside the school. As sir well said that there should be some seating arrangement according to the needs of the students and to the need of the hour, and encouraging the student voice and choice, where students' thoughts and ideas and concerns and choices in their learning can be encouraged.
Yes.
And in the next, foster a culture of kindness and empathy. In this, encourage act of kindness.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
must nurture the some qualities which are cognitive,
Yes.
which cannot be gauged. These things can be imparted through learning situations.
Yeah, sure.
And celebrate the diversity of the students for inclusivity too.
Yes. So thank you so much for connecting with us, Uma Rani ji and Dr. Somashekar. You connected with us, gave your time, and the most valuable knowledge you shared today regarding the topic, that how we can promote a positive environment among students and teachers. So that is really eye-opening, and thank you so much once again for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you to all the dear viewers. And now I may take your leave. You just keep watching our official YouTube channel, that is NCRT Official. Namaskar.
सोच में सकारात्मकता लाएं, जीवन को बेहतर बनाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। मनोदर्पण पर कॉल लगाएं, मनोबल अपना और बढ़ाएं। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम। चलो आज ही प्रण ले हम, मानसिक स्वास्थ्य सुधारे हम।
मनोदर्पण के काउंसलर से परामर्श पाने के लिए डायल करें टोल फ्री नंबर 844-844-0632। नंबर एक बार फिर सुने 844-844-0632।